So I decided to drop my truck. Not just a little, a full 4.6 drop.
Fucking A.
That's getting pretty damn low.
That's too low.
Sounds pretty simple until you realize literally everything has to come apart. Shiny new coilovers from Alden American, brand new control arms, steering components, sway bar, welding, misaligned bed, sway bar installed upside down. What started as just a drop kit turned into an entire suspension rebuild, some creative problem solving, and a Sawzall assisted exhaust delete.
This is mash on it, and this is my OBS.
In this video, I'm going to show you exactly what it took to drop it 4.6 with coilovers and a full front end rebuild. The good, the bad, and the part where the sway bar gaslit us for like 3 hours. Also, shout out to Alden American for sponsoring the coilovers. They gave me a deal, but they didn't ask me to be nice. Luckily, they actually worked great.
At the end of the video, I'm going to break down what the flip kit, C-notch, coilovers, steering parts, and control arms cost, because apparently that's everyone's favorite part. Also, once we hit 500 subs, I'm picking the commenter with the funniest comment and sending them these sweet-ass sport mirrors. They're cool, just a little too small for my truck, or maybe I just can't see.
Let's start from the beginning, where most good stories begin. Removing the bed and ruining the exhaust.
We started off by yanking the bed off, then got surgical with the frame rails, measure twice, cut once, and maybe measure one more time just to be paranoid. Pro tip, make sure the rear of the truck is supported when you cut, or you'll end up with a frame that looks like it just lost an argument with gravity. Then it was time to weld in the crown suspension notches, so I called up my buddy Forrest, legend in the shop, menace on the track. Some call him the Crown Vic King. I just call him when I don't want my welds to look like bird shit. Installing the flip kit was, well, extremely boring. I didn't film much of it, so here are some pictures instead. Enjoy this thrilling slideshow of metal parts. I did end up needing longer U-bolts because the kit came with none, and the stock ones were too short, which was awesome, considering we'd been busting our asses all day and couldn't even finish. 10 out of 10 experience. Next, I let the rear end down to see how it looked with the flip kit and immediately realized the exhaust was doing its best impression of a brake line crimper. And nothing a little Sawzall therapy couldn't fix. Next, we moved on to tearing down the front end for the 4.5 of the 4.6 drop. Lots of rust, lots of busted knuckles, and somehow way more dirt than I remember putting there. We're just gonna montage this part. I filmed everything, but honestly, it takes forever, so feel free to skip ahead unless you want to hear a sick beat. Gotta give a huge thanks to my brother-in-law. He's the guy you call when I'll do it myself turns into maybe not. He helped with the C-notch, the flip kit, the front end, basically the entire truck. Without him, this would still be a pile of parts and bad ideas. Now that we've torn it down, it's time to build it back up. There was a lot of debate about whether the steering box was centered from the factory. Turns out, it says right in the manual that it is. So yeah, reading, still undefeated. The steering box is one of the bigger pain in the ass parts to install. It's heavy, the bolts go through the frame, and of course, the bolt heads are in the worst possible place. Fortunately, we only had to do it twice, once to get it right, and once to get it right, then wrong again, and then just say good enough. Next up, the chop and block control arms. These things are a beauty. Honestly, they look so good. I almost felt bad putting greasy hands on them. As pretty as they are, we had a little problem mating them up.
So we've got a problem. You can see that our shock mounts on our chopping block control arms are vertical. Our shock mounts on our shocks are not vertical. So if we pull out this pin here, like we did over here, you can see that it fits down in there, but we just need a sleeve and a bolt, so we're not gonna finish today.
We had to order a sleeve kit from Summit Racing and wait a couple days for it to show up. In the meantime, we moved on, but not before proving to ourselves that yes, the lower shock bolt can actually be installed after everything else is together. Barely if you use a jack. Here's a clip of me putting peanut butter on some thrust bearings. Not actual peanut butter, but you get the idea. There are 4 of these little guys, and I went ahead and installed 3 of them on one shock before realizing they were supposed to be split between 2. So yeah, took it all back apart. Once I finally got everything sorted out in my head, these coilovers went in like a breeze. The fit was perfect. Everything lined up just how it should, and man, they look good. The finish, the hardware, the way the threads feel when you adjust them, you can tell their quality. I'm not kidding when I say these things completely change the front of the truck. It rides smoother, feels tighter, and it just sits right. Big shout out to Alden for backing the build and sending these over. And now you're about to see the huge advantage that comes with coilover shocks. This is where all that work starts to pay off.
She's going to the ground.
Damn,
Fucking A.
that's getting pretty damn low.
That's too low.
Well,
Oh yeah,
don't forget we
we can
have
adjust.
the coils are
The coils
are-
are as low as they go.
Yeah, you can adjust that on.
That's right. We had the coils cranked all the way down, and that's why the truck dropped straight to the ground. We've still got plenty of adjustment left to bring it back up and fine-tune the stance, but since we were waiting on the sleeves for the shocks, we ran them all the way out so we could easily get that bottom bolt in. And that's the beauty of coilovers. You can fine-tune your ride height to get it sitting just right.
Got everything installed now, so it's time to start putting it back together. But before we do, we're gonna go ahead and hit the frame rails with some paint. You know, since the bed's already off, might as well make it look as good as it rides.
Now it's time to drop the bed back on and finally see what this laid out beauty looks like. Nothing could go wrong, right? Yeah, something's about to go wrong. Wow, that's rough. Looks like something a 16-year-old slammed in his parents' garage with a Harbor Freight torch and a dream. I was ready to question all my life choices, but turns out it's an easy fix. I almost went the washer stacking route, but all we had to do was cut a couple of the bed supports. Putting a bed back on by yourself is no joke, and honestly, without a lift, it's pretty much impossible. Bed's back on, everything's buttoned up, and that means she's finally ready for the big reveal.
Chrome tears on the concrete. Oh, so newbie. Still Chevy, baby. Yeah. I've been riding in a ghost from 96. Steel frame so thick, built to take hits. Paint flake shimmer like a chain on my wrist. OBS body can't replace this. Two-tone dream, candy cold drill. No lane assist, I just let it grip. life I live. Chrome tears, they fall slow. Old trucks that shine when the sun get low. Ain't stock, ain't show, it's glow. OBS heart still beat through the flow. Chrome tears, yeah, they drop in rows. Ghost of my granddad riding in nose. Leather all cracked, but the legend still grows. 88, 98, that's how it goes. Tape deck bumping, no aux in sight. Still sound better than half y'all mics. Faded bow tie, but it still got bite. V8 growl like it's barking that lie. Ain't got a flex.
All right, so let's talk about what it actually cost to do this 4.6 drop, because I know somebody's gonna ask. Spoiler, it wasn't cheap. First up, from Pro Performance, I picked up the React 2-inch drop spindles, the Redhead quick ratio steering box, Borson steering shaft, Pro Performance tie rod sleeves, and the chop and block control arms for the coilovers. That alone came out to just over $3,200 shipped. The control arms were the big ticket item at about $1,300, but they're solid and they look killer. Next up was the Crown Suspension 6-inch rear flip kit with the C-notch, which set me back $250, and honestly it's one of the best deals in the whole build. Then from Rock Auto, I grabbed all the steering and linkage stuff. Pitman arm, idler arm bracket, center link, and both tie rod ends. That total was about $265. Once again, thanks to Alden American for providing the coilover, shocks, and springs. Add it all up, and you're looking at roughly $3,700 in parts just to get this truck down in the weeds and steer right. No labor, no beer budget, just the good stuff. So yeah, a 4.6 drop on coilovers isn't exactly a budget mod, but it's worth every penny when you see how it sits now.
I've been riding in a ghost from 96. Steel frame so thick, built to take hit. Paint flakes shimmer like the chain on my wrist.
I want to dedicate this video to my dad. He's the reason I fell in love with cars in the first place. Everything I know about wrenching and racing, I learned from him. We picked up this truck about 6 months before he was diagnosed with cancer, and he was right there with me through the entire LS swap and every other mod you've seen in this build. We lost him this past August, just a couple weeks after we wrapped filming for this video. I miss him every single day, but he lives on in every mile I put on this truck, in every part we installed together, and in the passion he passed down to me. This one's for you, Dad.
Sound like a life I live. Chrome tears, they fall slow. Old trucks that shine when the sun get low. Ain't stock, ain't show, it's glow. OBS heart still beat through the flow. Chrome tears, yeah, they drop in rows. Ghost of my granddad riding